so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads. Welcome to a very special episode dedicated to none other than you, the PeaHeads themselves. I am your PeaHead enthusiast and hostess for the day, Alexa Hauser. I have been blessed to have the experience of helping out with Positive Head social media for the better part of a year. And through my digital interactions, I began to realize, as did Brandon, that we have some incredible beings listening to the show who are taking the information that Brandon puts out through the podcast and using it to transform their lives and create wonderful things. You listeners are all a huge part of the life force that propels this show forward through time and space, and we think it's time to bring forth some of you beautiful reflections and delve a little deeper into this collection of energy that is the Positive Head community. So as we shine the spotlight on our listeners, what we'll have them do is share their stories of how they attracted Positive Head into their life, the transformation it's facilitated for them, and what they're focused on creating now that they're in a more positive headspace. Also, this episode of the Positive Head podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Hello, all you positive heads. On this week's PeaHead Posse episode, our guest is me, Alexa. I'm riding solo today. It's funny. I keep getting a few of you at a time reaching out about being on the show, and then people either reschedule to a later week or everyone just wants to do it like a month out. So I got the intuition that this week, instead of, having one of you, that I was going to have myself, but that I was going to share a little EFT tap with all of you because, as some of you may know, and I'm sure some of you don't know, I am an EFT practitioner who was trained by the incredible Sonya Sophia, who is on this podcast quite a bit. And she's always bringing her magic fairy godmother wisdom and light and love to everyone. And it's such a magical experience when she's on. But I had the privilege of, being trained by her over a year ago now. And actually, I know that one of her trainings is going on right at this moment as we speak, one of her EFT trainings where she's manufacturing some more love warriors out into the world to help people heal. And that's what happened with me. I felt like I just got sucked into her her vortex. I didn't even know that I wanted to be an EFT practitioner. And long story, but I basically found myself there at the training, and I've been tapping with people ever since. And I also lead tapping circles once a month in Philadelphia. So I do group taps as well, but yeah, tapping or EFT, if you don't know what it is, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And it's also called tapping because the modality works by using your own fingers to percussively tap on the energy meridians of your body. So our body is governed by energy meridians, energy pathways that allows the energy to flow seamlessly through the body and keep everything nice and healthy and fresh, right? And anyway, so when you have some sort of like negative emotion, let's say you get sad or you get angry or you get frustrated or resentful, any low vibrational emotion, if you don't find a way to express that by, maybe sharing with someone how you're feeling or journaling or punching a punching bag or screaming or laughing or crying or any of the things, any of the ways, multitude of ways that you can express your emotions. If you don't do it, and if you just kind of hold it in and say, nope, I'm okay, I'm fine. But inside your body, you can feel like you're not fine. Essentially what starts happening is the body can hold on to that, and it can disrupt these patterns of energy flow through your body. And that is, the precursor to disease, because what is disease? It means you are diseased. You are not at ease, right? So tapping is a way to re-regulate that energy flow throughout the meridians of your body. And it works the same way as acupuncture and acupressure does. But instead of putting the needles, in these different points in your body, you're tapping on these points in your body, and it's effectively doing the same thing. It's just getting things moving and flowing again. And so while we're tapping on these points, we're also speaking aloud and acknowledging the way that we feel. So for example, if, let's say you've been really sad, but you haven't been willing to acknowledge it, and you've just been like, no, I'm fine. Tapping on these meridians while saying, I'm open to acknowledging that I'm really sad right now is insanely powerful. It's really amazing what can happen when we're just willing to sit with our emotions and acknowledge them and then send love to them, because I think a lot of us have been raised with the idea that emotions or, negative emotions aren't okay. And that typically, I think, comes from just the way that adults feel around those emotions, because, it's like your parents, they want you to stop crying because, they don't want to be disrupted, or, they think you're okay, or they think it's not a big deal. And so, a lot of the times we're told to stop crying, or, we're told to get over it, or we're told to behave, right? And listen, this all comes from good intentions. It's not saying anyone's parent is evil or wrong or bad or anything like that, but it just kind of seems to be the pattern that in childhood, this is where we start to learn that our emotions, sometimes we're not safe to express our emotions, and that other people have opinions about our emotions, and that other people sometimes would prefer if we would keep our emotions to ourselves. And so we want to please people. And so that's what we learn to do. The beautiful thing is that, especially the more of this work that I do, the more I see more and more and more conscious parents, starting to change those patterns, starting to really become aware of how they can give their children permission to feel and acknowledge themselves and become self-aware and empower their children, in ways that hasn't been happening. So I'm absolutely confident that things are changing with, childhood and parenting, and that they're going to continue to change, and that, maybe one day we'll come out and be completely in touch with our emotions, and, we won't have to do these processes. But as we are in the time we are now, and as we are in a time when we are awakening to what's been going on, and we're realizing that we have these limiting patterns or these repressed emotions, it's so beautiful that we have such a simple tool and technique like tapping, to be able to reprogram ourselves and release these emotions and get some relief, and also start to frame our reality in a new way so that we can create new patterns that are healthier for us and that serve us in a better way. So I was sitting here thinking and asking Spirit, I was like, what would be a good topic to tap on? And fear of abandonment came into my mind. And that's probably because that's what's been coming up for me the past week. I'd say fear of abandonment has been one of my most intense fears and most recurring fears for the majority of my life. I know that I felt that strongly throughout childhood, and it's just kind of shown up in a lot of different ways as I've gone on my journey. And it's interesting, I've grown so much personally. I've broken through so many barriers, so many limiting beliefs, so many things that used to keep me small, and I feel so much bigger. than I used to feel, so much more capable, so much more confident. But it's so funny and interesting how, when you make, oftentimes in life, when you make a huge leap forward and you're like, wow, like I'm powerful, or wow, like I just did this thing I didn't think I could do, or, wow, like I just broke through that resistance, is kind of like paired along with that is then the shadow of that, right? Which is, for me, all of a sudden, it's like the second I decide to grow big and I'm like, I could do anything, out of nowhere, fear of abandonment comes and is like, oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah? You think so? And it's beautiful when we can acknowledge and notice these patterns of, like, even just seeing how certain patterns are linked together. Like I said, it's like stepping forward, being seen, being more. For me, I believe is linked to this fear of abandonment. And, for everyone listening, it might be different, but I have this intuition that fear of abandonment is something that all of us can really relate to, and something that might be popping up quite a bit as we're all going through a lot of changes and growth and transformation. And, anytime things change, abandonment, could come up because we're changing. And so it's like, well, what does that mean about all the people around me? Are they going to change? Is this interaction going to change? Am I going to be alone? Right? So that being said, if you're listening and you would like to follow along, which I would highly recommend, see if you can get into a quiet, private space, and if you can be somewhere where you can also speak aloud and feel comfortable to do that, that would be the best, because saying how you're feeling aloud, and feeling empowered to do that, feeling safe to do that is really powerful and is a big part of this healing process. So get into a quiet space, get comfortable. And I like to start all of my sessions by closing our eyes and taking our hands and tapping on the front of our chest. And I like to start with 3 deep grounding breaths. So let's inhale, exhale, inhale again, exhale. Inhale one more time. Let it all out. Good. Now rub around on the front of your chest. See if you can find 2 tender points. There are different spots on everyone's chest, but wherever feels good to you. And just rub in circles. And this is where we start, because these are what we call the emotional wells. So what's going to happen is, as you're rubbing around in circles, I'm going to explain to you a couple things. One thing is you are going to repeat after me, and I'm going to guide you through a tap on fear of abandonment. And there will be some places where I ask you to fill in the blank for yourself. But also, if anything that I ever say, it doesn't exactly fit what you're tapping on, and you could say it in a way that would better fit it, then feel free to repeat it back in the way that feels best for you. Also, it might be, it's common a lot of the times when we're tapping, because we're allowing more information to flow through the body. It's common a lot of the times that random memories might pop up, and you might be like, what? Where is this even coming from? How does this even relate? But it's likely related if it's coming up while we're tapping. So maybe you might want to just write that down so you can kind of feel into that later. So maybe have, something to write with near you, or your phone, take notes. And then the last thing is that something that happens during tapping, which is, I think, super cool, is that your body can experience what Sonya calls off-gassing symptoms, which are just ways that the body has of releasing and reorganizing energy. So, that looks like burping, yawning, laughing, crying, hot flashes, cold flashes, sweating. Everyone seems to kind of do it differently or have a different combination of those. But I just remember when I was at the retreat with Sonya and, all of my sisters and brothers who were training with me, everyone's just burping. Constantly. So if you're burping or yawning or anything like that, just know that it's a good thing. It means that you're dropping in, you're releasing, and you're shifting things around, and it's all happening. So now that we have that out of the way, all right, so I want you to tune in to this issue that we're tapping on, this fear of abandonment, and maybe you can think about specifically how that relates to you in your life. Keep rubbing on the front of the chest and then repeat after me. Even though I have this fear of abandonment, it's okay. I'm open to loving and accepting myself anyway. Deep breath. Now tap at the start of the eyebrows, above the eyebrows, right above the nose. And again, repeat after me. I have this fear of abandonment. Part of me is really afraid of being abandoned. And think about and feel into that fear. Deep breath. Good. Now tap the side of the eyes, the temples. This fear of abandonment. And again, tune into the fear. I've been carrying this with me for how long? How long have you had this fear of abandonment? For me, it's been, I'm 32 now, so I'm willing to bet that I've had it for 31 years, maybe 30. Deep breath. Let's say it again. I've been carrying this fear of abandonment around for how long? Now tap under the eyes on the cheekbones. That's a really long time. But even though I've been carrying this fear of abandonment around for how many years? I'm open to the possibility that it's okay. I still love and respect myself, even with this fear of abandonment. Deep breath. Tap under the nose. This is a big one for me. It feels kind of hard to shift. And feel into it. See, how hard does it feel? Does it feel like it's big and like heavy? Does it feel like it's loosening up? What does the issue feel like within you? I know for me right now, it feels pretty sticky. Like it feels like the more I try to push it away, the more it's sticking to me. So maybe let's talk about that for a minute. So I really want this not to be an issue. Part of me resents that I still have this issue after all this time. And just see if that's true for you. I know it is for me. Deep breath. Tap under the lips. Part of me resents that I'm still dealing with this. I'm tired of this issue. I'm tired of this fear of abandonment. It's been draining my energy for way too long. Deep breath. tap the chest. And let's send ourselves a little bit of forgiveness here and compassion. I'm open to sending myself forgiveness and compassion, even though I've been letting this fear of abandonment drain my energy for all of these years. Good. Breathe into love and forgiveness and compassion. I'm open to forgiving myself here. And I'm open to accepting myself where I'm at with this. It's possible that where I'm at with this issue is perfectly okay. See if you can just give yourself some acceptance here for wherever you are. Because like I said, sometimes the harder you push against something, the harder it sticks to you, you know? It's like trying to push like slime away or something. You're like, get off of me. And it's like you're just pushing yourself into it more. And it's just sticking to you harder, right? So let's acknowledge that while still chopping on the chest. Part of me wants to push this away. Part of me wants to tap this fear of abandonment out of me. Maybe if I can just tap hard enough, I'll annihilate this thing. Deep breath. Now tap the front of the ribs on the bottom rib, but the front of the ribs. I'm open to the possibility that I don't have to push it away or figure out how to get rid of it. It's possible that all this fear wants is my acknowledgement. So deep breath. And see if that's true. Check in with the fear. What does it want? Why is a fear even a fear, right? Isn't it just trying to tell us something? So now cross your arms over the front of your body and tap the side of your ribs where your bra line would be. Or you can put your arms out to the side and do like monkey arms and tap that same place. I like to cross my arms. Whoop, I just burped. There we go. So take a deep breath. Whoa, guys. That might have been my first burp, like first loud burp on audio. Cool. Deep breath again. I love and accept myself even with this fear of abandonment that I've been carrying around for how long? And even though part of me is really tired of this and it's draining all of my energy, I'm open to the possibility that it's okay. I'm still lovable, even with this fear of abandonment. Deep breath. So now tap the inside of the wrist. Put like all 4 of your fingers across your wrist, like the inside of your wrist. So that's going in a horizontal line. And now I want you to think, what's the earliest memory that you can feel or that you can remember experiencing this fear of abandonment, right? Like just think back. You don't have to think too hard. Just kind of feel into it. See what the first thing is that pops into your head. I know for me, the first thing I can consciously remember is a long story about how I was like 3, I think, and I stole a highlighter from an art store because I really wanted it, but I didn't know how to ask for it. And that goes into a whole other issue. But anyway, I stole it. And then my mom caught me like right outside the store. And it was this big traumatic experience. And then when we got home, my dad wasn't home yet. And I think she was telling me like she had to tell him. And I just remember feeling like I was going to die because I thought like he was going to leave me or they were both going to leave me or I don't know. I just thought like I was going to get in trouble and then things were going to change and I would be abandoned. So think what it is for you. What's the earliest memory you have of being abandoned? And then let's talk about it. So keep tapping the inside of the wrist. It's possible that this fear of abandonment is related to this one experience I had when I was younger. And now I want you to describe the experience. Just take like a full minute and start saying what happened. Say how old were you were, what you were doing. Describe what you were feeling. Describe the event. Deep breath. Keep tapping and keep describing. And then what happened next? Good. Now take another deep breath. Tap the top of you're going to put your hand out in front of you so that your palm is facing your chest and tap the top of the thumb on the side of the nail, but the top of the thumb. If you're looking down at your thumb, the top. So tap there. So say, I had this experience and it was really scary and it made me feel really bad. And it also made me feel, how else did it make you feel? Good. Deep breath. Tap the top of the index finger. And I was scared that I was going to be abandoned. I was scared that I was going to lose love and connection because of this experience. Deep breath. So it makes sense that I feel this way now every time what? So I'll give you an example. So in my story, right, my experience, I really wanted this highlighter. I really wanted it and I went for it. Even though I stole it, I went for it. I went for the thing. And then I got punished and called out and really embarrassed, actually, because then I had to go back in the store in front of all these people and tell them what I did. But all of that is related to me feeling like I'm going to be abandoned and humiliated, I guess. So this fear of abandonment for me is related to getting what I want. Wow, I felt that one. I don't think I've ever put that together in that way before. Deep breath. Tap the middle finger in the same spot and say what that is for you. So this fear of abandonment, it's possible that it's related to what? Just burped again. Good. Deep breath. I love and forgive myself for how hard I've been on myself about carrying this issue around. It makes sense that I have this fear. Thinking about this memory helps me understand that this fear comes from an experience I had, or many experiences that I've had. Tap under the fourth finger. So on the opposite side of the finger, opposite side of the nail that we've been tapping. I love and forgive myself for being so hard on myself about moving past this fear when I haven't even really gotten to know it. It's possible that this fear is just trying to keep me safe. And feel into, is that true for you? In my memory, in my experience, I think absolutely. This fear of abandonment, it's like, don't do that. Like, don't go for what you want. Don't go get another highlighter, right? Don't grow. Don't make your own decisions. Don't all these things, because you're going to be abandoned. If you do that, you're going to be abandoned. So it's just trying to protect me. It doesn't want me to get in trouble, right? So deep breath. Tap the little finger. I love and respect myself, even though I have this fear of abandonment, which tries to keep me small in order to keep me safe. Let's tap on the outside of the hand, like make a karate chop symbol with your hand and tap on the bottom of the karate chop, fleshy part of your fist, I guess you'd call it. Let's say it again. I love and respect myself, even with this fear of abandonment that's been trying to keep me small so that I can stay safe. Yeah. And just feel into how that's been playing out in your life. See if anything else comes up, like, oh, wait, is that why this happened? Is that why I shied away from that, or I felt weird about that experience? It's really powerful what can happen when we do connect our fears and our limiting beliefs to experiences that we had when we were younger, because then all of a sudden you connect all these dots. You're like, oh, and that's what was happening there and there and there. And suddenly you don't feel like, I don't know why I do this stuff. I messed up, or you don't belittle yourself over it anymore, beat up on yourself anymore. You start to realize, wait, that all happened for a reason. I was just trying to keep myself safe. Aw, you can give yourself compassion, and it frees up a lot of energy, because you also realize that your being is very intelligent. It uses the information of what you've experienced to keep you alive, to keep you, again, the word safe, it just keeps coming up, to keep you safe. And so sometimes what we have to do is we have to go back to these memories, and then we have to acknowledge the fear that's designed to keep us safe, and we have to help give it a new role, right? So maybe let's do that now. So tune in to this fear of abandonment that's been trying to keep you safe. Man, I'm burping a lot today. Wow. Okay. Tune into the fear that's been trying to keep you safe. And let's just talk to it for a second. Say, I understand more now why you're here. And I'm sorry that I've tried to push you away for so long. It's possible that I just didn't understand why you were doing what you were doing. Deep breath. Tap the top of the head It's possible that you, fear of abandonment, have just been trying to protect me all along. And I really appreciate that. And truly, see if you feel in alignment with this to send it some appreciation. You know? On some level, you told this part of you a long time ago, hey, protect me. Make sure I don't do that again. Make sure that I don't do the thing that's going to get me in trouble. And so it listened to you and it stood guard. And anytime you started to get near the edge of something that it perceived as dangerous, it showed up and was like, I am here. Fear of abandonment. If you do this, everyone will leave. Right? Because it wanted you to stay safe, because that's what you told it to do. So I love and appreciate you, fear of abandonment, for all the times you stood by me, for all the times you showed up to try to help, even if that's not how I saw it. Deep breath. At the top of the eyebrows. So now I want you to think, what could fear of abandonment do that isn't the fear, right? Can we give it a new job? What would we like to put in place of this fear of abandonment? What could we use more of? For me, let me think. I could use more trust. Definitely trust. Trust and confidence. So whatever your thing is, think of it, hold it in your heart, in your mind. Whatever you could use more of that would help you, that would empower you, that would help you move forward towards what you're wanting to see and what you're wanting to experience. And now let's address this fear of abandonment and say, thank you for how you've served me. But I'm open to the possibility of creating a new role for you now. I would like you to help me with trust and confidence instead of fear. And obviously you can put in whatever you want there. And I'm open to creating the belief that that will be so. Deep breath. Tap the side of the eyes, the temple. I'm installing trust and confidence into this space that fear of abandonment used to be. And maybe see it happen in your head. I really love combining tapping with visualization. It's really powerful. I do it quite a bit with my clients. I do a lot of different types of visualizations. But I think when you're tapping, it allows you to relax enough. And then when you visualize it, it kind of gives you that room to do it and accept it because you're not kind of fighting it with your constant thoughts. So maybe really see that exchange taking place, see the fear of abandonment and see it getting switched out, or maybe see it transform like a phoenix or like a, I don't know, shapeshifter, however you want to see it happen. Use your imagination. Maybe it's one color, but then it changes to another. Maybe it starts out as, sometimes I like to see my fears as soldiers because I see them as like protecting. And then I transform them into something that's symbolic of what I want to see. So if it was, fear of abandonment, it was a soldier, but now I want confidence and trust. I keep seeing a bird. So I would see like the soldier transform into a bird. So really see it happen. Take a deep breath. Tap the cheekbones under your eyes. I'm open now to the possibility of experiencing more, whatever you put in its place, confidence and trust in my life. I allow this all to be easier now. Tap under the nose. And although I might have some lingering resistance here, some lingering fear, that's okay. I'm open to loving and accepting myself throughout this whole process because this is a journey and where I am is perfectly okay. Deep breath. Tap under the lips. I'm open to integrating this new energy of, and then say what you're putting in its place again, confidence and trust, or whatever you said. And allowing myself to experience it in my reality. I am fully supported by the universe. And I'm open to the possibility that I have help, seen and unseen. Tap the chest. I'm not alone in this. I have support. And it's possible that I'm capable of more than I thought here. Deep breath. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I'm so proud of myself for showing up for myself. Even just by doing this tap, I showed up. I stepped up. And I gave myself the love and acknowledgement that I've been craving. And I'm open to the possibility of doing this as much as I can. Because the more that I do this, the easier it's going to get for me to move towards what I'm wanting to see in my life. Deep breath. Good. Now tap all over the body. Even in places you never tapped before. And tell yourself something you love about yourself. And then check in and see how you feel. I know I feel lighter. It's so interesting because I just feel like, I usually am doing my sessions with clients or with a group of people, and I'm rarely doing them with myself. I mean, I do it with myself, but I feel like it's easy for me to get distracted when I'm doing it myself. So I just realized this might be a really good way to give myself sessions, because when I'm focused on that this is going out to other people, it really allows me to stay focused and drop in with myself, and I feel better. I feel like I just shifted something on my fear of abandonment. So I hope this helped, and I hope that you can use this as a tool, whenever you're experiencing a fear of abandonment or just fear in general. You can obviously come back to this and re-listen and even do it again if you want. I would highly recommend drinking some water after you tap, and maybe even taking a nap. Sometimes it takes the energy a little bit of time, like 24 hours to integrate. And it's interesting what will start to open up and illuminate, and the shifts that you'll start to see in 24 hours. So I would love it if any of you wanted to share your experiences with me. You can email me at alexa@positivehead.com. And you can also reach out to me for a private session if you want to dive deeper into this and do this, in a much more customizable, targeted way. I do all my sessions online, and you can book a session at my website, which is www.alexasoothes.com. I would love to tap with each and every one of you if you would like. But that is all for me. Thank you for letting me be the guest today, guys. And I will have a new guest next week. That is for sure. So have a beautiful weekend, everyone. And happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. You guys are doing it, bringing that beautiful masculine energy, and we appreciate you. Love, love, love. That's it for this week's episode. If you're a listener with a story to share and are interested in being featured on a future episode of this special series, you can email me at alexa@positivehead.com. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear Brandon constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration, and if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place we know of to do it. Period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Otherwise, tune in next Friday for another HeAd Posse episode. And until then, as Brandon always says, journey well.